Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this morning. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. I'd like to give special thanks to my very talented producer, the talented Mr. Jeremiah Long. And I'm your host, Vincent Turner. Today, our video is on Keith Byars, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets by way of the Ohio State Buckeyes. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm going to tell you, me, being myself, Vincent Turner, I've always been a big fan of Keith Byars. I remember Keith Byars going all the way back to high school when he came out of Dayton, Ohio in 1982. And I remember that because he was like one of the top running backs in the country. Actually, it was 4 running backs that everybody talked about coming out of high school. The great Marcus Dupree out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Bo Jackson out of the state of Alabama. Then there was a gentleman out of my hometown. As everyone knows, I'm from the 901, representing today, Memphis, Tennessee. This gentleman's name was Roman Bates. And then, of course, this gentleman out of Dayton, Ohio, Keith Byars. And everybody during that year was saying, where was these gentlemen going to go? Well, we know Marcus Dupree ended up committing to Oklahoma. Bo Jackson went to Auburn, and Roman Bates went to Ohio State. And then Keith Byars committed to Ohio State. And everybody in Memphis, Tennessee was saying, why in the world would Roman Bates go to Ohio State? Because there's no way he's going to beat out Keith Byars at the tailback position. Well, you know what happened? They moved Roman Bates to fullback. He got mad. He got upset, quit Ohio State, left the school and never heard of him. But this young man right here had a hell of a college career, Mr. Keith Byars. And he's from that lovely town of Dayton, Ohio. And Dayton, Ohio is real close to my heart because of the music scene. And back then, me being a 22-year-old, I loved Dayton because you want to know why? One of my favorite bands, lead singer Mark Wood, Lakeside. Another band, the Ohio Players members were from Dayton. Then, of course, the great one, Stevie Arrington of Slave. And then Roger Trapman of Zap. That's what I loved about Dayton, Ohio. And this gentleman right here, he put him on the map as far as a football player. 6'1", 245. And I'm going to tell you this, when he was in college, a lot of people was talking about all the great football players that was in college at that time when Keith Byars was in college. You had Keith Davis at TCU. You had Reuben Mays at Washington State. You had Eddie Brown at the U, Miami. Of course, you had Doug Flutie at Boston College. You had Jerry Gray at Texas. You had Greg Carr at Auburn. And you had Ron Holmes at the University of UW, Washington. But Keith Byars was that guy at Ohio State. And the season I want to talk about Keith Byars today was his junior year. 1,764 yards rushing, 22 touchdowns in 1984. That year he finished second in the Heisman Trophy to Doug Flutie. In my opinion, he should have won the Heisman Trophy hands down. He was the best player his junior season. But it was a game October the 13th, 1984. CBS, national televised game. Keith Byars rushed for 247 yards in that game. He had 5 touchdowns. But with 36 seconds left, he had that electrifying, that O.J. Simpson type run against the University of Illinois. And Ohio State was down in that game huge early on. And Keith Byars ran out his shoes. And man, it brought you to another level in the horseshoe. And that's when I say, you know what? This gentleman is electrifying. And we could talk about all the great running backs at Ohio State in their history, from Archie Griffin to Eddie George. But at that time, Keith Byars was the special one. He was the most explosive one. And I remember him that day. And think about that Ohio State team he played on. Mike Tomczak at the quarterback position, Chris Carter at the wide receiver position, Sonny Gordon and William White. That was a very special Ohio State football team that year. Well, Keith Byars went on, finished his college career when he had 4,369 total yards. He accounted for 50 touchdowns in his career, 3,200 yards rushing. He became a first-round pick in the 86 draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. But what I really loved about him, he played on the Philadelphia Eagles team from 1986 to 1992. And I'm going to be honest today, to the Eagle fans, y'all should have won a Super Bowl with that talent y'all had. Buddy Ryan, I know he get credit for being a D coordinator in Chicago, but nah, brother, Buddy Ryan, you're a horrible coach. You're a horrible coach. Because think about what Philadelphia had with Keith Byars at that time. Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Ronell Young, Terry Hogue, Wes Hopkins, Brian Evans, Randall Cunningham, Keith Jackson, and Fred Barnett, and y'all did not win a Super Bowl during Mr. Byers' time there? But I'm not going to get into that. I'm still staying on Keith Byars. He had an outstanding NFL career. Over 3,100 yards rushing in his career. 5,600 yards receiving. 610 receptions. 31 touchdowns. 23 by rushing. And the man's skill set was just unbelievable. What you like in a very special football player. When you talk about all-purpose and through a threat, you got to give Keith Byars an A+. He was an outstanding blocker as a running back, A+. I don't have to mention no more. Outstanding receiver, hands like gloves, ball skills off the charts. 610 receptions as a career in the National Football League. His vision as a running back, A+. The burst and acceleration when he was at Ohio State, A+. The run instincts, A+. Balance as a running back, A+. Power runner. Especially when he got to the National Football League, he can run between the tackles, A+. Yards after contact, A+. Initial quickness, A+. And he was very explosive when he was at Ohio State and when he played with the Philadelphia Eagles. If I have to say one thing about Keith Byars, I think the flowers should go to him today. He should have won the Heisman Trophy in his junior year. And I will even go say this. He should get some consideration for Hall of Fame votes because he was a very balanced and a very productive football player and an outstanding teammate when he played in the league. Just ask his former coach, Bill Parcells, how he feel about Keith Byars. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. We'll surely appreciate here on 100 Yards of Football. Special thanks once again to my producer, Mr. Jeremiah Long. My final words about Keith Byars. Dayton, Ohio, baby. It's all the way live. The Ohio State Buckeyes. Dun, 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 dun. The Ohio State Buckeyes. Keith Byars. Be blessed. 100 yards of football.